Hey, welcome everyone. Sorry I'm a little late today, and I'm sorry I didn't warn anybody that I was getting on. Maybe people thought with my video last week that maybe I wasn't up to doing a live chat today. So if nobody shows up, I guess I'll just talk to the wall and it's okay. But if you're around and you want to come on in, I would love to have you here. First thing I want to do is to thank everyone who has been visiting Yvette Sports through my link and using my TAM15 discount code. Also, those of you who are using my Amazon links to buy whatever you're buying on Amazon, can I just say thank you so much for the support. This week has been kind of rough, as you guys know, and you guys are really making my day. Like every comment and all the people supporting me through the various different ways, Patreon and all those different ways, has really meant a lot to me. So I'm grateful. I see a few of you have made it, so I am grateful to you for that, for coming on in even without warning and without me being late. It's always tricky to decide what to talk about on these live chats. I feel like I rehash a lot of the same things over and over, but there are a certain few things that I feel like are just vital to talk about often, and the mental aspect of weight loss is definitely one of them. And so that's why I want to talk about that today. As you're coming in, don't forget to say hello so that I can say hello back. And don't forget to minimize the chat and give this video a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm knows that it is worth watching and shares it with other people, because the more we can get these videos out there, the more help we can help others, right? How more people that we can help. So definitely say hello and give me a like. And I'm going to go back up to the top and see who is here. Keto Cricket, Tammy is here. Welcome. Thank you for saying I'm beautiful. Hey, be proud. I put makeup on today, guys. I even did my brows. They're not that awesome, but I haven't done my makeup in a while. I just haven't felt interested in doing my makeup, and I decided today I really needed to pick me up, so makeup it was. Brooke Norman is here. Welcome. K. Sarah, who used to be dairy-free keto, is here. Welcome. Tammy Posey Level is here. Solidarity to all the Tammys. Jody Ingram is here. Welcome. Keto Grace, who is Debbie, is here. Welcome. Terry Green. Hey, good to see you. I'm so glad to see you here at the beginning. Awesome. Welcome from Canada. Nesreen is here. Wow. Hi. How you doing? Beth Richmond is here. Hello. Cheryl Cole. Hi. Epiphany London, who is Sue. I always get nervous about that one for some reason. Welcome. Victoria Ortiz, welcome. I am feeling better, and we are going to talk about that, and I appreciate you saying so. Thank you. Veronica Ortiz, are you guys sisters? Victoria and Veronica, two awesome V names, and I have a daughter named Virginia who almost was both Victoria or Veronica. I couldn't decide on my V name, and I ended up picking Virginia because it was kind of a family name. But yeah, my little V. I love it. You guys are so cute. Kristen Hagley's here. Welcome. Pierrette McGregor. Wow, that's a beautiful name. Welcome. And I am ADH Snuggles. Angela is here. Sue, I got it. Yay, see, I'm getting there. With some of you guys. I love it. Lisa Sums. Hey. Yeah, don't forget to thumbs up the video if you haven't already. We do appreciate that. And Lisa's always so awesome to remind people to be supportive. All right, we have a few people here. All right, so I am going to go ahead and get started on our subject. I know a lot of you guys are worried about me, and I really hate that I have to sometimes share my hard days, because I first of all, I don't want to sound overly dramatic or extra whiny. I like to keep myself on this channel as upbeat as I possibly can. I don't like to come across as helpless, hopeless, all of those negative emotions. But the fact of the matter is that when it comes to weight loss, it is 100% a mental game. People tell you it's 80% nutrition. And while that is somewhat true, the mental aspect of weight loss is what is going to make or break you. I think it was last week or the week before, we talked about the number one reason diets fail. And we sorted out that the reason that diets fail, either from not starting or for various emotions that they face, fear is number one. And so we did talk about strategies about that. So if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend watching the first 20 minutes of that video, because we talked about strategies on how to face fear and get it out of the way when it comes to weight loss so that you can be successful. There are a lot of emotions that you're going to feel when you're on a weight loss journey. I have talked about them before. I think I even went through my like whole cycle of emotions at one point, but I thought it could be revisited because of this week. Now, for those of you who might be newish to my channel, you may not really know that this has actually happened every single year that I've had YouTube and that I've been a human being. So this time of year, I really struggle as we're coming into competition seasons with my kids, and I'm excited about getting going on that, but still feeling like the humdrums and the doldrums about the weather and just not handling life well. I really do come up against these walls, these ruts, and these really negative spaces. So the part of the reason I share that with you guys is so that you can see, first of all, I'm not perfect, okay? I'm not. I make mistakes. I have hard days. I want to quit. Even now, still 3 years into the game, I still have days like that. And it would be, I feel like, unfair to not share things like that with you guys so that you can see how I get past that and how I overcome that and help teach you guys. Sorry, my daughter is actually messaging me and saying that my oldest son is being inappropriate with them, and he literally knows that I cannot do anything about it. What do I do? Sorry, did I lose you? Are we still there? Oh, good grief. Well, I could scream at him, but I don't think he'll hear me. I've got my door shut, and I don't think I could yell loud enough. So I might have to get up and go yell, but I don't want to just like abandon you guys. So I don't hear anyone actually screaming. She just messaged me because she can, and she knows I'll see it because I'm sitting on my phone. Okay. Now I've lost my complete train of thought. Back to where we were. Why I share. Okay, so yeah, why I share is because I want you guys to know that I'm just a regular, real person. And I have a lot of struggles, okay? I have 9 kids. They all still live with me. My oldest is 24. My youngest is 4. I homeschool most of them, including the 17-year-old who is terrorizing the little ones at the moment because he knows I cannot stop him. And yes, my life is frustrating sometimes, and trying to run 2 YouTube channels and my photography business, like it's a literal miracle I get through the day. People ask me, how do you do it? Well, I don't clean the house much, and my house is a wreck and everything's disorganized, and the kids are willy-nilly, and we do what's the first thing in front of us right now. That's why I was late to chat, because I had to get the homeschooling started and get them at least done with their read-alouds and stuff like that before I get going up here, because then they need to be able to move to the next part of their day and not just not have their beginning of their day. So that's why I was a little late to chat today. So that's one of the things. That's literally the first one on my list of the mental game. This is my daughter's book because I couldn't find my pretty one that I was going to use, and now I just found it. Overwhelm. Okay. So overwhelm can really come anytime in the journey. But I think when we first begin, we get really excited. You know, we have these like, it's a new thing. We're trying a new diet. Things are going to happen. We're going to lose weight. We're excited. We have the big water weight whoosh that first week. And we're like, this is easy. I got this. I can do this. We have all these really positive emotions. But as we continue on and we realize, first of all, that's a water weight whoosh. And really what you're going to actually lose is probably the same as every other diet that exists, 1 to 2 pounds a week. It's not a heck of a lot. Keto is not a magic pill. It does make weight loss easier because it gives you a little bit more satiety, especially at the beginning. You're going to have too much satiety, which is a problem. But it doesn't last forever, as we well know. And you're going to have a lot more help with keto. Just moving back and forth between burning body fat and burning dietary fat. It's a lot easier. It's a smoother transition. And your body's just more likely to burn your body fat when you're in ketosis. But it's not a magic cure-all, and it doesn't guarantee you're going to lose 5 pounds a week or even, 1 pound a week. Honestly, you have to be willing to put the work in. And there will come a time when you feel extremely overwhelmed, especially at the beginning When, like, for example, you're close to, you're well over 300 pounds, if you're like me and you realize how far you have to go and how long it's going to take and how much effort it's going to be, and you start to get a little bit of overwhelm. You can get overwhelmed in your daily life just by your family struggles and the things that come up. So you may have started out the first of the year really excited to get going, and by mid-February are feeling pretty deflated, overwhelmed by life. I can't do this because of such and such reason. You have your reasons, you're justifying, you're starting to pull out all the excuses. Now, some of the excuses are valid. If life is going to crap and you just cannot deal with one thing extra right now, then maybe it's not the best time to embark on a weight loss journey. But if you're like me and you're 3 years in, life is going to go to crap all the time. And you have to be willing, and you have to have a plan, and you have to move through that without having to start over all the time. It is the best way to do it, is not having to start over. So that is the main reason that I don't give into a carb attack. So, the other day I was like, I just want to eat popcorn and I want everything, all the carbs. And did I do that? No, of course I didn't, because what would happen? What is a scenario? Where is that a scenario where that would do some good for me? There isn't one. There is not one. It may in the moment have calmed me a bit and helped me to relax. But 20 minutes later, when my stomach is gassy and bloated and huge and I'm miserable and I'm regretting it and I'm watching the scale go up later and all of those things are happening to me, that's never, ever going to be a good thing for me. That is never, ever going to make me happy. That is never, ever going to improve my situation. It's definitely not going to improve the number on the scale, as we all well know. And so when those feelings of overwhelm come, we have to have the long-term game in our heads, and we have to have plans for how we're going to move through that. One of the ways that I move through it is by using it as a teaching moment. Now that I have become a teacher and I teach the subject of weight loss, as I come up across difficult times, I think, how can I use this to help teach my people, my friends, how to make this a benefit for them? So how can I make this situation a benefit? That's why, even though I just am embarrassed and I didn't want to make a video, that I sat down and make a video anyway, and I be real. Yeah, I'm a whiny person. I am a dramatic, over-dramatic person. I was born that way. My 6-year-old daughter is the same exact way. Everything's a crisis. Everything is bigger than it really is. That is my initial reaction to everything. And by showing you guys that, yes, does it maybe knock me down a notch or two in some people's eyes? Yes. Did I lose a lot of subscribers? Yes. Yes, I did. And that is painful. But I feel like it's a really important thing to show the not perfect parts of this, because you're not going to have a perfect journey. None of you will. It's going to be not easy. There are going to be moments of overwhelm where you're going to want to eat all the popcorn. You have to have a plan in place for how you're going to move through that. And one of the ways I do that is by talking to other people. So YouTube is a great resource for that. Talking to you guys and getting that out and getting it out there was partially helpful. Telling you guys not to give me advice was a protection, because I know from the past that when I've complained about things or whatever, and I get people, even well-meaning advice, even not unkind advice, it just bugs me. And I knew that I needed to not feel that. And can I just say, thank you. I really, really did not think that people would have. I mean, I knew that most of you guys who really, really do support me would respect my wishes and not offer a lot of advice and would just give me a pat on the back. And you did. And I'm so grateful. But so many people commented that I've never seen before, that had just recently watched the video, and they were really kind. I really only had one really nasty comment. And because I had so many happy, supportive, awesome comments, I just blocked that user from my channel and went, I didn't care. I didn't care about that one person who felt the need to say something not nice. And so it was nice because there was like 200 comments and they were all nice. And I was kind of honestly shocked because YouTube, you just never know. You just never know who's going to watch your videos. Especially, it just seems like anything with drama in the title is going to draw people in that don't normally come here. And that always makes me nervous because I trust you guys, you know. When we're on these live chats, you people that are here right now, I trust you because I feel really connected to you as friends. And so when it's someone that I trust that says a negative thing, it hurts way more than just some random person. But if I have enough random people coming in that don't even know me and don't even know like where I've come from or what I've done and don't know me as a teacher, they just spout off random stuff. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing that for 3 years. Like, come on, this is old news. And it frustrates me that I have like people that don't really know me say stuff. So I appreciate all of that. It really helped me to get it out there and talk about it. And of course I talked to Dave about it. And of course I didn't eat my feelings and, you know, all of those things. I went and did my dance classes and I mean, like, I don't know what I did. Saturday. What day was it? Saturday? Oh, yeah. I watched TV and I chilled. And I didn't eat my feelings. So be impressed because usually when I watch TV and chill, that's the hardest time for me. I didn't even get any like heavy cream, I don't think. On Sunday I did have some, but on Saturday I didn't. So be proud. Be proud, guys. Okay. So the second one that I wanted to talk about is ennui. That is a French word. And what it means is boredom, tediousness, the longevity of it all, the tiredness of the food, the tiredness of the tracking, the tiredness of doing the same dang thing day in and day out, right? Because we all know this is a long-term game. This, if you are really serious, is not a 2-week crash diet and you lose 30 pounds. That's not how it works. This is a shift in mental focus and it's a shift in physical doing things and it's a shift in dietary consumption. There are a lot of things that go into putting it in place. But once you get to that place where you're like, okay, I got this. I know what I want to eat. I have all my meals out. I have my tracking down. I have my electrolytes down. Like, I am good at this. You come to a point where it just becomes what you do, which is good because that's where you need to get in order to be successful. But with that can also come boredom. I'm tired of eating chicken breast. I'm tired of eating steak. I'm tired of eating whatever meals. I want something new. I want something different. I need sweet. I need this. And when you come up against the ennui, that can be almost as devastating as the overwhelm. And ironically, ennui or boredom usually comes up because we're doing well. Because we've got this and we're doing the same thing day in and day out because we've gotten it down, right? We're doing this thing. It is happening. And so obviously one prime way of beating the ennui is always to look for recipes. And that's why we have so many like recipe channels and people always wanting me to share my recipes and stuff like that. I don't really do recipes. Every once in a while, I'll just get a bee in my bonnet and I want to try something. But all of the keto recipes that are out there are way too high in calories for fat loss. They're just mostly fat bomb things. And so it's a lot of work to take a recipe, try and cut back on the fats in it and make it still taste good, or to come up with something on your own, like the Mexican rice that I came up with last week, which was killer awesome. That was just something that I just kind of came up with as a whim. Or like last night, I just needed to fit my macros the way I was trying to accomplish them for this week. And so I like had room for cabbage, hamburger, mushrooms, onion, and that is it. No sauce. Oh, and cheese. No sauce. So we came up with like a stir fry. I told Dave, I said, these are my macros. This is what I want in the dish. Chuck it all in a pan. Just cook it up with some cooking spray, put some seasonings in it, and I'm just going to eat it whether it tastes good or not. And shockingly, it was really, really tasty. So sometimes you'll just do something like that where you're like, you plug something new into your macros and you think, okay, that'll fit. I have no idea if it's going to taste good, but we'll throw it together and see what happens. Sometimes it's a complete and utter failure. But the key with ennui is to do something a little different. Try to change up your same old first meal of the day, or your same old 5 dinners, or whatever. Come up with something new and see if it tastes good. Now, sometimes that new thing will go into the rotation and sometimes it won't. I really thought Mexican rice was going to make it into rotation, and it should have been my dinner last night. But for some reason, I just wasn't in the mood for Mexican rice, and I ended up having the cabbage stir fry thing instead. So, go figure. But ennui is definitely faceable. Another thing you can do when it comes to boredom is do a different activity. So I joined a different dance class, or I would go take walks with my kids, or I would get a bike ride, or I would do something physically active that maybe I hadn't tried just to see if I liked it. Now, you guys know I am like the worst when it comes to exercise. I literally don't love it. I totally hate it, actually. Everyone's always suggesting I need to do lifting, and I realize that I probably should, but I just am never, ever, ever probably getting that into my wheelhouse. It's just not my thing. But I'm at the dance studio every single day for at least 4 hours a day. So I can take a dance class with my kids and try something really, really hard. Is it usually always comfortable to do that? No. And sometimes just getting the boredom to fix is like getting yourself out of your comfort zone, trying something that you maybe are nervous to do or nervous to try, that gives you something new to motivate you and get you excited. Because the diet thing has to be like underscored by everything else that's going on in your life. The goal is to get it to be so much a part of you that you never even think about it anymore, and you're just dealing with the next thing on the list of your life that's exciting, right? So that is the way to combat that, is to try new things. Now, I am trying the world's worst new thing ever right now. Like, I'm taking this adult jazz class, and I know I've mentioned it before, and I showed you guys my costume. They've changed the costume multiple times since then, and now it is a completely sleeveless green dress that looks like, army green. I'm going to look terrible in it. And guess what? At the very beginning of the dance, I have to pose like sitting on the floor with my arms straight out, like in a square. It's hard to show. With my shoulder cocked, and then I have to do this weird, creepy, like shoulder move thing in the front. It's okay. It's all good. I'm not going to die. It's not going to kill me. Then I get to do a lot of rolling around on the floor and dance moves that are very, very hard. I don't even know how I feel about it. It literally terrifies me to my inner core, which means it's something I got to do, right? Because we talked about fear. The only way to get through fear is to face the fears. And what's the worst possible thing that could happen to me? What's the worst possible thing? I could maybe fall and get hurt. I could be a little embarrassed. I could look like a donkey jumping around on stage. What's the worst? Is that going to hurt me? Really? No. Not really. My kids might giggle at me. People might think that it's funny. But you know what? I guarantee you, every single person is going to come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, Tamra, I am so impressed. I can't believe you had the courage to do that." Even if I look like an idiot, I still have the courage to get up there and do it. I am not a dancer. I watch my kids dance all the time, and in my head, I'm a dancer. But physically, I am not graceful in any way. And so, yeah, that's going to be a huge challenge. And it's another way I'm defeating the ennui. All right. So the next one is struggle. And when I mean struggle, there's a lot of struggles that I'm talking about. Some of them, the physical struggle that your body wants to eat carbohydrates, right? You guys, it's cravings. It's difficult. It's a fight. It's a fight. Struggle when you get to the boredom and you have to figure out a way to overcome that. Struggle is part of the game. If it wasn't for struggle, it wouldn't be worth having. Our entire lives, earth existence, is struggle. Without struggle, there's no point. So when we come up against hard things, we just need to get that fight in us, that get up and go. When I'm struggling emotionally with my depression, I'm able to sit there and go, "Oh my gosh, Tamara, come on. Get a freaking grip." And I do eventually get a grip. But in that moment, I know that there's just no getting out of that. There's no way out but through. I have to feel those emotions and I have to face them head on. And then I have to figure out a way to not eat them and to do something else that makes me feel better. Even if it means just time, just pressing through until it passes. Also, with the struggle can come walls. So when we're starting a new thing, we are, like I said, you're really excited. You're like, yes, this is gung ho. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm got it. I'm gonna do it this time. It's gonna work. And then you'll come smack into a huge wall. This wall seems insurmountable. As you look at the top of it, you think there's literally no way out. There's no way over. You may as well give up and be done because there's no way. The goal when you hit the wall is to find a way to climb it, to find a way to scale it. You just have to be creative. You have to be really in touch with your feeling of wanting this, okay? You have to want it bad. You have to really want it. So if you don't have a why behind you, everyone always, I think it's kind of cliche to say find your why, but if you don't have a very good reason of why you want to lose weight, I wanted to not die and I wanted to not regain. So I have those two big ones that fuel me. So at first is I did not want to die. And I'm sorry, but death is really big motivator. And I really thought I was going to at almost 400 pounds when I could not even walk up the stairs or get myself out of the tub. I genuinely thought about death a lot. So not dying was a huge one for me, but you have to come up with the one that is motivating for you. Now, my fear of a regain is my big one. That's why it hit me so hard to see that 190 because I cannot regain. It will kill me. And so it's a big, huge focuser. It helps me refocus. It helps me climb that wall. Sometimes the wall is as simple as a physical thing like electrolytes. Sometimes you come up against a physical wall and you're like, this is literally killing me. I'm dying. That's almost always an electrolytes issue. So if you are 2 weeks in and you're feeling like you're going to die and that this diet isn't for you, that is your reason. You need to go watch my electrolyte videos and get a handle on your electrolytes. If you aren't losing weight, but you are losing inches, electrolytes. Most of the problems you'll face on a ketogenic way of eating is an electrolyte issue. Try salt first before anything else. That's always my motto. How is your sodium? That's like my first question. When I have a client who's struggling with the scale or with feeling frustrated, hitting a wall, having a mental breakdown, I'm like, how are your electrolytes? Almost always they're not good, or they're not tracking them, or they just aren't keeping track, or they just think they're doing well enough, but they aren't. Low electrolytes will stall you physically and mentally. You cannot have the mental clarity that comes with ketosis without electrolytes. It's vital. They are hand in hand. Sodium is what gives you the mental clarity. So you should be carrying it around always. And if you guys are looking for this little ghost sack container, I actually have an Amazon affiliate link now, guys. I legit have one. It was not that hard. Why'd I wait so long? And see, I just have my Solé water I keep in the bottom. And then this is how much I take. It's a little over 2 tablespoons. And you don't have to take that much when you take it. I've worked myself up to it. I carry this around with me and I try and drain the whole thing. One up here and all of this. That's 5 servings. That is literally over 5 tablespoons of Solé water. And I really, really think that was part of what was wrong with me with the weight gain and my emotions. Not enough. Because apparently I need way more than everyone else on the planet. I don't know why that is, but I'm not going to argue with myself anymore. My lips are no longer super dry. I don't feel dehydrated anymore. As soon as I started focusing on that, the scale is starting to drop. So, yeah. Electrolytes are huge in overcoming the walls when it comes to the emotions. They can be connected to salt. And we're not talking a pinch of salt here and there. We're talking a lot. 5,000 milligrams of sodium minimum, probably more. Especially if you're doing the protein prioritized version of keto, because it just seems like it's even more necessary when you don't have the fat. I don't know what it is about that, but it just seems like people have an even harder time maintaining their electrolytes when they're doing protein prioritized. Okay, we talked about scale fail. Scale fail is dumb. Try really hard not to get upset about the scale. I usually do not. It was just that stupid 190 that got me. If it had said 189.8, I would have been fine. But because it was over 190, it sent me into a tailspin, and I know better. I know better. And I have so many people, don't weigh yourself. I'm like, well, I have to. Because first of all, it's accountability. Secondly, out of all my videos, they get the most views. And sadly, I have run a YouTube business. And so I have to keep doing it. I cannot stop doing it, even when I don't want to do it. And even I should do it when I don't want to do it, because that's the most important time, right? Because what if I hadn't made that video? Would I have gone on a carb binge? I hope not. But because I got accountable with you guys, I definitely didn't. And that's huge. And just remember that the scale does not give you all the information. So you, from the very beginning, should be measuring yourself. And I have to say that that was actually the scarier part of last week, is that I gained 2 inches around my upper waist, which I had just lost a half an inch from the week before. I'm praying a lot of that is just weird bloat and that it'll come back down. I haven't dared measure myself again. I will do so again on Saturday. But measuring yourself is a more accurate indicator of whether or not you're actually losing fat. Last summer, I was losing inches by the yard, by the foot. I don't know. I lost a lot of inches, but the pounds didn't change. That's how you know you're building lean mass and losing fat mass, is when the scale doesn't change, but you are getting smaller. Okay, so you need to measure. Taking pictures is another great way. I did pictures every 4 weeks up until this last, I think, fall. I kind of stopped doing it because I haven't changed at all, really, other than I got a little bigger, maybe even. So I haven't done it since then. But from the very beginning of my journey, I'm so glad I did, because I have this record. Because like you get to this point and you forget about what you look like. You forget about what it was like. And it's so important to have that reminder so that you don't go back there, right? So that is huge. Having other means besides the scale to determine your success. And like I said, if the scale isn't cooperating, probably it's your electrolytes. Get them under control, and the scale should whoosh down. So, and when your scale whooshes down, be prepared that you're going to need even more sodium than you did before, because you're going to be dropping it like gangbusters. When you're losing a bunch of water, you're going to be dropping your sodium and potassium like gangbusters. So be prepared to double up on it and get a lot more in. Don't take too much at once. It will cause diarrhea if you can build up your tolerance. So like at the beginning, I could barely take a tablespoon without running to the bathroom in 20 minutes. It was too much. But now, like I said, I can take 37 milligrams, which is a heck of a lot. I mean, that's over 2 tablespoons of Solé water at a time. And I could probably take even more than that now, because I've just built up a tolerance and my body knows it needs it. And so it stops trying to flush it out. Does that make sense? Another sign that clued me in that electrolytes was part of the problem was the fact that I was constipated for the first time in forever. And that is usually an electrolytes issue. Means you're not getting enough sodium usually, and sometimes magnesium. So I definitely upped my game and things are back to normal. So yay for that. And then the very last thing is just remember, this is a long game. This is not a short game. I know that that's hard to hear sometimes, but honestly, like, we're going to be working on this for the rest of our lives, because if we want to really change, we have to really keep focusing on it for a long time. Okay? Don't think about the long time of it, but just remember, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 meal at a time, 1 decision at a time, but it is a long game. And just know that you're in here to change your habits. You're in here to change who you are right now. And changing who you are is hard. Like, people do not change easily. What's comfortable is hard to change. And so remember that you're just in here to make tiny changes every single day. And that's the only thing you can do. And should you make a bad choice, do not let that stop you. Do not let that make you fail. Just go right back the very next meal, the very next bite, and say, no. We're doing this. This is what we want, remember. And go back to doing what you have been doing before. And people keep telling me that, go back to the beginning, go back to the beginning. I'm like, I am still at the beginning. I'm just saying more of it. Ugh. It's hard at this point to figure out where your comfort zone should be. But I am working on it every single day. Every meal, every day, I'm like reevaluating. So I will, coming up on my way in this week, I'm trying a whole new thing again. I'm always doing something, right? Just tweaking something. I decided I'm going to do something that's probably going to make people not happy. You will see what it is on the way in, and you will see whether or not it was an utter fail or whether or not it got me out of this rut. Obviously, I am hoping it's going to get me out of the rut, but if it doesn't, I don't think it's going to hurt me that much, so I think we're going to be okay. But keep your eye out for what's going to be happening, because that's one way I cope with having a hard time, is like I have to refocus, remember what I wanted this for, what's my why am I doing this? And I'll tell you what, seeing 190 on the scale about gave me a heart attack and threw my why right in my face. So you know that regain is my biggest. I just cannot do that again. I did it before. I lost 110 pounds and I regained 150. And I'll tell you what, I would have rather just stayed 300 pounds, because the regain was my worst nightmare. It was the worst thing I've ever been through in my whole life. It's very scary and I never want it again. So it's highly motivating, which is a good thing, because you need to have motivation to keep going, right? Because like I said, it's the long game. And I'm thinking about that, how long it's going to take to kill these fat cells. So technically, I have been around the 180s, between basically 174 and 194, let's say that, for 2 years now. 2 years. So for 2 years, I've been under 200 pounds. I've only got 7 more to go to kill those fat cells. And I have to keep reminding myself, it takes time, it takes time. But to be completely honest, it sounds really awesome to just like go into the doctor and have liposuction, have them suck all those fat cells out. Watching that video, find out that it's going to take me 9 years to literally kill those fat cells and stop them from fighting me to regain the weight. Ugh, the 7 years, that's a long game, and it sounds pretty terrible, and it makes surgery look a lot more promising. I'll tell you what, if I had 30 grand, I'd sign up right now, but I don't, so I can't. And then I just got to keep going one day at a time, tweaking what I can, staying active, doing the things that make me happy, and try not to stress. So, man, that was a long lesson. I wrote a lot down today. I hope that it was helpful to you guys. I hope that my insights on how I deal with the mental space is helpful to help you guys see that it's not all just nutrition. It's not all just changing and going on a diet. It's really about facing your demons, facing your fears, just moving past them and dealing with hard things to the point where you get so ingrained in your new you that when hard things come, it doesn't even occur to you that you would ever go off plan. So, all right, that's my lesson for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, I would love to answer some questions. So if anyone has anything, I'm going to go right back up to the top and see if there's any questions. And I will do my best to stick on here for at least 20 more minutes. Sometimes I go longer. You guys get me talking. Man, you're the worst to get me talking. I'm telling you what. If you have a very important question, I will remind you we have the super chat option, or if you just want to throw a couple bucks my way as a thank you, because it's for support, it's down there. You click the little money, and I don't know where it takes your money from, to be completely honest. Google, maybe? I have no idea. I have no idea. But it will pop your question up so I can find it faster if you are so inclined. Please don't feel like you're obligated to do anything like that, though. Okay, I will try really hard to get this done. Sorry, I'm reading and talking at the same time. Not the best choice. Apparently, I'm not capable of that. Let's see. Hey, Healthy and Keto, welcome. Christine Keto on, welcome. Some of you guys I haven't seen here before. Okay. My kid's calmed down, so I guess he must have stopped. So that's good. Oh, Christina Stammen. She's here. She's the one who told me about that video. Why can't I remember the name of it? Did you link it somewhere here, Christina? Because I cannot remember who it was that I even watched. I can't remember, but it was really good. Though, I don't know how much science is behind it or whether or not he's just spouting random stuff because it's not, I don't think he's a scientist, but what is said made sense. So, all right, let's see. Oh my heck, there's so many of you guys here. I can't say hi to everybody. Okay. You can change your name to Drama Queen Keto. I should have just done that. The chaos did refer to the complete insanity of my life and having 9 kids and dance mom and all the stuff that I do and the stuff that's everywhere. That's where the chaos actually came from. But yeah, drama queen. I'm definitely a drama queen. I can't help it sometimes. That's just literally how I was born. Though keto does calm it down quite a bit. I am a lot more even keel and I have way fewer bad days than I did before keto. And that's the best gift that keto has given me. I'll tell you what. Okay, let's see. Sarah Baldwin says, you are such an inspiration. I watch you to help me get through this slog. I love it. That's a good word, slog. Slog. That is such a descriptive word, and it's so true. It is so true. She says, I know it's going to take the better part of 2 years. Seeing that it can be done without surgery is so helpful. And true, guys. That is literally the miracle, is that keto makes it so doable. It really is sustainable. And it really is good for the long term. I didn't have this satiety issue until I tried adding fats back in order to get to where I stopped losing weight. When I added fats back in, the satiety went, it's like my brain just went pew, and I just could not stop eating again. And all that binge eating came back, and now I'm re-dealing with it. Thought I'd already accomplished that. But like I said, the fat cells fight you. They want to do their job. So yeah. Lisa Sum says, I've been here so long, I expect the sad or the seasonal depression after holiday mood from you and me. So I try to mother friend kindly through it. We got your back. Yes, true, Lisa. You have been here a while. All right, I have a super chat, so I am going to find it. Oh, Christine did not give me a question. Christine Keto On, thank you so much for your donation to the channel. Do you have an awesome question? I'm going to come in a second and check to see if you have a question for me. But if it's just donating to be kind, I appreciate it because it means a lot to me. Cheers me up. And sorry it's so wiggly. I have tried everything in the world to stop my little support stand from wiggling, but it's adjustable, and so it moves, see? And it's on my bed, so that's not helpful. All right, let's see. Okay, this is an interesting question. Nasreen says, I'm sorry, but I cannot live the rest of my life without eating fruits. Watermelon, cantaloupe, etc. I miss these things. I think once every 3 months or so, I must eat my fruity favorites. It's totally up to you if you want to have a fruit day. And honestly, if you have a small enough piece of fruit, you can stay in ketosis and eat some watermelon. Like, you really can. You just have to weigh it and track it and make sure that you don't eat too much of it and don't overeat it. I'm trying to cure binge eating and carb addiction. It doesn't matter to me how much I miss anything. The feeling I will have if I mess up is so much worse. And I've regained before. So I've done this before. Like I said, I've lost the weight and then binge eated my way back to 150-pound regain. And that, I give up anything for that, to never do that again. Anything. There are things I miss. Popcorn is number 1 on the list. I used to be a movie theater butter popcorn goer. That has been my escape since I was in high school. My best friend and I, that's what we used to do every single weekend. And sometimes we would do multiple movies in a row. My husband and I, that's what we do for dates. We used to sit down and have a giant bowl of popcorn every single night and watch TV together. Now, I edit videos and he watches YouTube away from me so that we don't have that temptation. It's hard for us to sit and watch TV together because we just get really munchy. Everyone has things that they miss. But when it comes to things that you miss, fruit is probably like, I take fruit. Like, I don't miss fruit. And that's one of the most benign. So if you're going to have a fruit day once every 3 months, I think you're going to be fine as long as you just make sure you're tracking it and make sure you have a plan to get back on plan. It's just like people who have carb up days or cheat days. I just can't do that because I'm not capable as a human being. I have proven that I'm not capable of doing that. So, my downfall last time was green smoothies. Everyone told me how healthy they were. I started putting spinach and yogurt and strawberries and bananas in a smoothie maker with some orange juice for sweetener and drink it up every day. And that's what sent me down the path to 150-pound regain. Of course, I didn't regain eating smoothies. It's the slippery slope that it can cause. That's the issue. So don't feel like you have to give up every single thing that you love forever and ever. Amen. It's not necessarily true, especially because some people can stay in ketosis with a very high carb threshold. Apparently, I don't have a high carb threshold. So I can't do that, which sucks. I was kind of hoping I was one of those people, but I should have known that I'm not, because I very easily regain, even just overeating fats. So, sigh. So I hope that made you feel better in this reading. All right, I'm going to see if Christine has given me a question. She just says, keep doing what you're doing. Thanks. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Everybody go subscribe. I don't know if you have it. Like it says Christine Keto On. I assume you have a channel. Go subscribe to Christine if you haven't. Christine with a K, Keto On. I'm going to go check you out later. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, now I got to find where I was. Where was I? Nesreen. I was looking at Nesreen. Okay, here we go. Beth Ann says I'm too hard on myself. Yeah, I know. But aren't we all? Aren't we all our own worst critics? Right. Oh, okay. Oh, well, Christine, I see a question or a comment from you earlier, so I'm going to read this one. I had steroid injections in my back this morning. My blood sugar is currently 148 from not even eating anything. Oh. She says, I know I've shared that I'm right there with you, 162 a month ago and 172 yesterday. I know, it's so frustrating. Christine, are you my Christine? I didn't even know it was you. Now I know who you are. Hi, girl. She's my Christine. I recognize that now. You are so cute. I didn't even know you had Christine Keto On as your name. How did I not know this? It's hard for me to sometimes connect the people I know from other platforms or other situations and the people I know on YouTube because their names are always different. So thank you. And I know we're in the same boat and I've been trying to help her out too. If you go to the PSMF page and you ask that question, they basically said there's no way to cut except extreme calorie deficit. And the only way to get past that is to cut even more fat from your diet. And it's literally, that sounds like hell. I just don't think I could ever do it. So I'm starting to think that this is just going to be where I'm at, 180, and just be happy. And I am happy. I'm doing everything. So I have a stomach. I might someday go get it sucked off with liposuction. I mean, because why not? I might have to do that. Like, I might seriously do that. If I ever get $30,000. But I think, well, I say that and I have no idea how much it costs. That's how much it costs in my mind. It probably isn't even that much. I have no idea. But yes, you at least got to my goal, 162. 163 is my goal weight, and I've never got there. The lowest I got was 174. I'm not going to tell you what I weighed today because I don't want to give away the weigh-in for this week because I want it to be a total surprise. But as you guys know, I was 191 at my weigh-in on Sunday. If you watch that, which is why I was like freaking out because I don't ever want to see that 1.9 in front of my thing anymore. Oh, how much sodium a day do I take? Lots. Probably, well, I don't know. Let's do the math. If it's only at least 12,000 milligrams minimum on top of what I eat in my food. But I'm not the norm. Dr. Finney does not recommend that much. And I have tried so hard to pull back to what Dr. Finney recommends and can't. So I just feel like the sodium amount should be the amount that keeps your water weight down, that keeps you feeling less hungry, that keeps you clear-headed, no weird body aches or pains, no tiredness, no fatigue. Like when you feel good, you know you have the right amount. So 5,000 is the minimum though. You never ever want to go below 5,000 milligrams. But if you're doing 5,000 milligrams of sodium a day and you still feel like crappity crap, probably you need more. So try adding an extra tablespoon and just see how you feel and go from there. I've also added in potassium supplementation. I used to always swear against potassium, but I started adding 3 to 4 grams of no salt last September, and it really helped my water weight, though all of a sudden it's back again. So go figure. I really don't know. I did add that in. So now I take both of those things, which I try really hard not to overdo the potassium though, because when you're doing potassium and sodium together, you really can exceed your potassium threshold more, because by keeping your sodium level high, it keeps your potassium levels up there as well. It kind of keeps you from dumping it. If your sodium levels get low, you will dump potassium first. So you have to rebuild the potassium. You'll know you dumped potassium if you start having weird pain in your chest. Not heart pain or anything. It's just this weird ache in your chest and also cramping in your feet and legs. That's a huge sign that you had a big whoosh. You dropped your sodium, your potassium went bye-bye, and now you got to rebuild it. So the way to rebuild it is to eat lots of green veggies, eat lots of meats, take in some no salt, whatever you have to do for a couple of days to build it back up and keep your sodium levels good, and then you should be back to normal. Whenever you have a water weight whoosh, you risk that. So, and I have them. I don't seem to like just maintain my water. I always put on the water and drop it and put on the water and drop it. It's the most annoying thing, and it's been that way since forever. It's probably was like that before I ever started losing weight. I just didn't know. Right? All right. Okay. Let's see. Measuring is a little more time consuming than stepping on scale, yes. But if you just make it a habit that you do every time you do your weekly weigh-in or whatever, I have a thing in my phone that I keep track. It's really beneficial. It has helped me through a lot of difficult times in my journey. Lisa Sum says, great lesson. By the way, her last name is really Summerfield. Isn't that pretty? Lisa Summerfield. Great lesson coaching today. You are on fire through the blogs for sure. Well, the blogs definitely are teaching moments, and I have to like figure out how I can use them to benefit you guys. And that's why we talk about the mental aspect so much. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Keto. They told me the video that Christina Salmon shared. It was the protein energy ratio diet from Dr. Ted Naiman, Naiman. And it's so similar to the way I lost the weight. And you know what it made me feel better about? I was going to give up my ground beef until he said that the perfect food, that the perfect meat that gives you just the right amount of fat for satiety so that you'll consume the less calories is 85-15 ground beef. And ironically, that's literally what I crave every day now. I used to be only chicken breast every day. Now the thought of eating chicken breast makes me want to die, and all I want to eat is all the hamburger. Is that weird that he would say that? Oh, it made me feel so much better, because I was like, oh, I was totally going to give that up. I'm not giving it up now. I am giving something else up. You'll find out on Sunday. But it's not that. Fasting is a good way to lose weight. From 03 Tufel Hunden. I don't know if that's right, but yes and no. Extended fasting can damage your metabolism, and I think even the intermittent fasting that I've done for the last 3 years has possibly interfered with my metabolism as well. But Dr. Naiman in that video actually said that when you lose massive amounts of weight, sometimes your body just shuts down its metabolism a bit. He says your blink rate is slower. Your breathing rate is slower. Your heart rate is slower. Your twitch rate is slower. And you just burn fewer calories sitting still than a normal person, which makes so much sense. So where it says that maybe you're burning 1,500 calories laying still, you might only actually be burning 1,100 calories, which makes total sense, because I'm thinking with all my activity that 2,200 should be pretty close to what I'm burning. But if that's the case, really it's more like 1,500, maybe, right? Lisa, you're so funny. Great chat. How much do I owe you? Nothing. Just your presence. Okay, Sharon Denise says, hi, I'm new. I've been stuck 1.5 years at 300 to 308 pounds. I can't give you any advice other than join our Facebook group and try our macros and let us try to tweak your diet a little bit and see if there's anything that we can do to help you out. I do offer coaching, but my window for coaching is really slim pickings. Competition starts in 2 weeks, and I really, after the end of February, am not going to take any new clients until probably July. So if you want me to coach you one-on-one, I do that for $120 for 4 weeks. And basically, I just baby step you through it. I handhold you through getting the macros set up and the chronometer and tracking your food and getting your electrolytes going and giving you a kick in the pants when you need it and giving you a hug when you need it and just doing whatever you need me to do to help support you. But we also do that on the Facebook page for free. So if you just want to join over there, Facebook, it's ketochaos, the group over there on Facebook. We can get you started. Also, I have tons of videos. There's a beginner's playlist. So I would love to help you because, Sharon, there's no reason why you cannot be successful. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I have 9 freaking kids. I run a photography business. I run 2 YouTube channels. I'm so busy, and somehow I've made it happen. And if I can make it happen, plus I have depression and anxiety too. So throw all that crap into the mix, and it's literally a miracle that I'm here right now. If it wasn't for God, I don't know if I would have made it this far. He has been my rock and salvation that's helped me stay motivated and helped me learn how to teach you guys, which has been the greatest blessing. I never knew I was a teacher. I mean, I knew I was a teacher. I mean, I homeschool my kids, but I never knew I was a teacher for adults. And it's like a whole new world, and I'm so grateful for it. So I'd love to help you out. All right, let's see. Talked with the kids, confirmed your moods are way better on keto. Virginia mentioned that I'm nicer. I am. And they know if I'm cracking the whip, that it's because they have literally stepped on every nerve I had. I don't usually fly off the handle, where I used to fly off the handle probably several times a day. It's like now probably maybe once a month if I fly off the handle, and it's not nearly as scary as it was. But I've noticed they react more because they're getting used to the new me where I'm calm. When I fly off the handle, they get scared. Whereas before, they used to just ignore me because I was always flying off the handle. So, yeah. Is popcorn that bad? No, actually, out of a lot of the grains, it's fairly low in carbs, which is probably why Dave and I still ate it last time we lost weight. The problem with popcorn is that it's literally impossible to eat the amount of carbs that you should eat. You're going to eat a whole bowl. There's just no way you're going to pop a cup of popcorn and just eat 30 grams worth of carbs. Like, it's just not possible. Plus, you're combining the popcorn, which is a carbohydrate, with a fat, which is the guaranteed way to gain weight. You don't want to combine your carbs and fats. So if you ever are going to have a carb day, fruit would be the ideal way to do it and not have any fats that day. So do only lean meats, lean proteins. You could even do like whey protein with no fat. You could do 0% yogurt and then do fruit alongside and then go back to eating your regular keto the next day. That's safer for you than eating fats and sugars together in the same meal. You're going to eat less of it if you do that. Plus, you're not going to get as much overkill with your energy. Well, which is what Dr. Naiman was talking about, is like putting too much energy in your body when your body's already over full of energy. It doesn't know what to do with it, and it causes all kinds of body problems. So that's really interesting way to put it. I never thought about it that way. Lynn Anderson says, doesn't winter always pack on pounds, but it comes back off in the spring? No, not always for me. That hasn't been the case. Of course, if I get motivated to do a cut and cut my calories down to 1,300, then yeah. But it has not been the case for me. I think it's just because normally you would be more physically active, but I'm about the same level of activity. I do have a lot more stress in the spring, and I'm much more busy in the spring. But I'd say my physical activity level isn't necessarily much higher. And so I don't think so for me. But, I mean, maybe there's something genetic to it, I think. We crave eating more food in the winter to pack on the weight. I really think you got something there, for sure. All right. Let's see. Yeah, the inflammation after eating carbs is the worst. So the weight gain isn't even the worst part of it. It's how bad you feel. You just feel terrible. I mean, not that I know for a fact because I haven't really eaten much carbs, but I have gone over my carb threshold, which is apparently really low. And stomach hurts, joints ache. It's awful. So I don't recommend it if you can avoid it. April Wooten, it's good to see you. Let's see. Yes. So, okay. So Lisa Sum says, I tried some net carb keto products. They are slippery slope back to overeating. They can be, yes, especially if they trigger you. For me, they don't trigger me as much as apparently fats do. This is something I'm learning about myself, and it kind of sucks. But I can't stop. Like if I go out and get like a bag of Quest chips, I can eat a bag of Quest chips. I do it all the time for dinner, and no big deal. No big deal. I can go out and get a Quest bar. I have done it in the past many times and eat it, not feel like I need to eat 10 of them. Be fine. But give me some heavy cream and I will just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat until I die. Can't stop. So fats definitely are less satiating to me than some keto products. So you just have to go by you, like Sarah Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto. I always say her name wrong, her channel name wrong, but she knows she's triggered by those bars and snacks, and so she doesn't ever touch them. And me, I'm not as much triggered, and so sometimes I have them. So it really depends on the person. Okay. Too Crazy Keto says, my blood sugar goes up 20 points just by bending over to tie my shoes, and that's 24 hours fasted. Wow. So yeah, I actually tested my blood sugar yesterday, guys, and it was 99. That's the first under 100 reading I've had, and I never was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. In the morning, that's my lowest number so far, 99. I was really happy to see that 99. I haven't tested it in a while because I was tired of seeing the over 100. Do I weigh myself every day? Yes, I do. It's just habit. Doesn't usually bother me. Cooper's Cats Pauline says, would low electrolytes cause lightheadedness? Yep. That's the number one sign your sodium is low. Lightheadedness is the very first one. Fatigue, mental unclarity, literally the opposite. Anything brain foggy. And then it moves to the physical where you start to feel pains, weird achiness, cramping in your muscles, things like that. But when you first start to feel lightheaded, yeah, take some sodium stat. Yes. Okay. Lisa Sum says, yep, plain old hamburger. My mom was keto 50 years ago. Who knew? Maybe that's why I crave it, because my mom was also a hamburger girl. I love it. All right. Roxanne Hanks Burton says, hello, I'm kind of new to your live chat. Welcome. Good to have you. I researched daily sodium intake, and what I have found that the range should be 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams of sodium. That is for people who are having the standard American diet. That is the actual recommendation of like the FDA or whatever for how much sodium a person should consume. The problem is, on a ketogenic way of eating, it's really anti-inflammatory and your body tends to dump it. It's something to do with the adrenals. I have all the science somewhere in a video. I don't know exactly all the science right off the top of my head. But what happens is that your body doesn't retain the sodium. So you have to picture it like a hourglass. So imagine if you have an hourglass, you've got a certain amount of sodium and it's slowly pouring out. Eventually you will run out of sodium. But if you opened up the top of the hourglass and constantly kept re-putting more in, that as it fell through the bottom, it wouldn't ever be gone because it just would keep coming back. And that is the idea with the sodium level. It's just part of ketosis. It's a side effect of ketosis. And it's the part that the people have the hardest time with, which is why I'm constantly coaching and trying to convince people to take more. But trust me, it is a thing. And this is important. If you're eating standard American diet, your body is retaining enough fluid that it doesn't need that. In fact, you're always trying to drink gallons of water to try and flush that fluid out. And that's not necessary on keto either. So 60 to 80 ounces of water is more than sufficient on keto, and 5,000 plus milligrams of sodium. So it's the opposite of what everybody else has been teaching you, but it's imperative to get this right if you want to be successful on keto, because otherwise you will feel like literal crap. That is just the long and short of it right there. People that don't feel like crap on keto and have been doing it a long time and claim to only have 2,000 milligrams, that's because their bodies have learned to adapt and are just retaining water. They're not receiving the anti-inflammatory benefits of the body trusting that the sodium will always be returned and thus letting it go. And so they're in not as good of a place because their bodies have just learned how to retain water anyway, despite being on an anti-inflammatory diet. Even my daughter, who is only gluten-free, well, she's gluten and dairy-free. She eats carbs, though. She eats potatoes and rice and all of that. She still has to supplement her sodium because her diet is that anti-inflammatory, too. She has recognized this, and I found that she keeps a baggie of pink Himalayan salt crystals by her bed, and she munches them at night when she's reading or being on her tablet because she knows she won't feel good if she doesn't take some. And I didn't really even tell her to do that. She just started doing it. So there's that. Hopefully that helped. Okay. That is not a silly question. So, but First Coffee says, this is probably a silly question, but do you measure how much sodium you take on a scale? I'm electrolyte dumb, and that's why I always go off keto because I get heart palpitations and my legs hurt. Okay. Yes and no. So, but yes. Yes, you do. Depends on how you're going to take it. So, for example, if you decided you were just going to swallow pink Himalayan rock crystals like pills, you would look on the back of the package of the pink crystals and find out how much sodium is in, a gram or 4 grams or whatever of the actual salt. So I'm not exactly sure on that. Pretty sure a 1/4 teaspoon of the granulated pink Himalayan has about 300 milligrams of sodium. So you would have to weigh out how much rock salt or how much pink fine salt or however much any salt that it says on the back of the container would give you 5,000 milligrams minimum. Put it in a baggie and then just munch it all day long if you're just going to eat salt. That's actually how I did it at the beginning. Redmond real salts taste the best, and that's how I would do it. I would measure it out in a baggie and I would just eat it throughout the day. That got to be really tedious. I was licking it out of my hand all the time. People were asking me what I was doing. It was awkward. So I stopped doing that and I started making Solé water. Solé water is basically super saturated salt water. Water can only absorb about 1,400 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon of water. So when you soak salt overnight, so this is not the jar I make it in. I make it in a different jar, and there is a video on my channel. Just if you type in Solé water, mine's one of the very top videos on YouTube about Solé water, but it's spelled S-O-L-E. So if you're looking for that, you soak it for at least 24 hours, and then this clear water that separates off the top has about 1,400 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon, which makes it trackable. So I also weighed out how much would go in here, and it's 37 milliliters or grams. Grams and milliliters weigh the same on a scale. That's how you know. And so I just take 4 or 5 of those. 4 is my minimum goal, but sometimes I only get 3 and I always regret it. That was my problem is the last couple of weeks. I've only been doing 3. I really need 4 minimum and sometimes 5. So I know that's 37 milligrams, milliliters, which are grams. That's confusing. But yes, I still weighed that to find out the information, and now I don't weigh it because I have my little measure. You can do that on any container. So if you have a container and you weigh out how much is 1 tablespoon, you can mark it on the bottom of your container with like a Sharpie and then fill it up like that and just take it with as you go. You can mix this with Mio and a bottle of water to make it taste like Gatorade so that you can stomach a little better. It is pretty harsh when you take it straight, but taking it straight's the fastest. You can take broth, but remember you have to count the calories and the carbs that are in whatever broth you choose to use. Plus there are questionable keto ingredients that some people don't believe in using. I am dirty keto-ish, and so I don't really stress about some ingredients that some people might stress over. I know like my sister stresses over things if it says sugar in it or cornstarch in it. She doesn't want to eat it. But me, if the carbs are low enough, I usually will. And maybe that's part of my problem. I don't know, but I do that. Anyway, that's the ways you get it in. But yes, measuring it out carrying it around with you and taking it throughout the day is how you would do it. And definitely you can come in the Facebook group and talk about that. We can talk about it. We've talked about it so many times over there. Lisa Sum says the Facebook group is super awesome, is awesome, so supportive. I posted this updated side-by-side photo and I'm still getting messages of support. Yay. It's a good group. I've got a good group. We've got 6,000 members over there now. It's amazing. It's such a great little community. So join us if you haven't already, because get free advice over there and lots of help. And I try and get on every day and help as many people as I can. Yes, every electrolyte video is different amounts you've watched. That makes sense because there's really not a hard and fast rule. That's why I say Dr. Finney recommends 5 grams or 5,000 milligrams minimum. And he's the one who I follow. On vertahealth.com, he has several articles on how much you need and why. But it's really just a body thing. You have to, I would say, start with 5,000 and then move up from there if you need more. Most people need more. I found that like the bulk of people that I have helped get to their happy place is about 8,000 milligrams for their happy place. And that's not counting when it's hot outside, in the summertime, or if you're exercising. If you're exercising, you need even more. Like you should, if you're going to exercise, you should exercise in the morning, fasted, and drink sodium before, during, and after your workout in order to have the most energy and benefit and not lose your sodium. Okay. Yes, not having fat with the carbs is not great for type 2 diabetics. Well, yes, you should definitely not. If I was type 2, I wouldn't even go with carbs at all. That was just how I would be. That's why I'm like, if I am diabetic, well, I'm already doing what I could possibly do. So, but yeah, they need that fat buffer to keep the glucose from spiking. So yeah, don't go out and do that craziness if you're type 2 diabetic. Thank you. Cricket knows her stuff. If you guys aren't sub to Keto Cricket, you should be, because she freaking knows her stuff. And I love learning stuff from, her name is also Tammy. Us Tammys got to stick together. All right, let's see. Wow, I got some kisses from some lovely people across the sea. Hello, guys. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. Be careful with pink salt. Not all of them are good quality. Some companies are taking regular salt and dyeing them pink. Use Redmond if you can. And Redmond tastes the best anyways. I don't know why I think it's because it's cheaper. And maybe that's been my problem. Maybe I'm not getting enough sodium because I think I'm taking that much in my Solé, but maybe you're right. Technically, any amount of salt, though, should absorb to exactly 1,400 milligrams in Solé water, which is why it makes it safer that way. As long as there's salt in it, it should still work, even if it's low quality dyed salt. Good question. Roxanne Hanks Burton says, what are your thoughts on Aldi's Lovin Zero net carb bread? Black. Say no to gluten. Gluten is inflammatory. It is not good for you. It is bad for your joints. It's just going to make you crave real bread. It's best to not have it. That is how I feel about it. I mean, if you eat it and you don't get gassy and miserable and your weight doesn't go up and you don't find you have major cravings, then probably you're not super gluten sensitive. But I know for a fact that gluten spikes my depression zone, and I just avoid it at all costs. I have a son who's allergic to it that also has extreme. The one who was having his moment earlier with the kids, he will hurt people. And that's why I was concerned, because if he's had wheat, which I don't think he has, but he also has depression. And if he has wheat, it makes him a dangerous person to be around. So yeah, be careful with wheat. The name of the Facebook group is just ketochaos. When you search it, you will find my page, which you can like, and my group, which you can join. You'll know it's the group because it will ask you to answer 2 questions to get in. I think it's 2. Yeah. All right. Exercising while fasted is too much. I need my coffee first. Well, have your coffee. I'm not saying you can't have coffee. I drink Bang every morning, but not like eating your big breakfast and then going out and exercising, though it's not going to hurt you. But yeah, have your sodium. Don't forget your sodium. All right. Two Crazy Ketos has a video on the Aldi bread coming out in 30 minutes. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what you think about that. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, she says she can eat the whole loaf. Yeah, you have to limit it somehow. Like you definitely, nothing is going to be good for you if you're going to eat the whole thing. That is part of the problem I'm having with some of the keto treats I've been having, is that I can't seem to stop. It used to be I could, and now I can't. And so, yeah. All right, guys. Well, looks like I got everybody. Woo! In only an hour and 15. Awesome. Okay, I am going to cut it here because I need to go find out if my kids are okay. Make sure everything is, I think it's okay. I haven't heard any screaming, but you just never know. And I just don't want these videos to be so long. They've been really long lately, and I feel like people don't watch them because they get too long. And I want to make sure other people get the chance to experience, you know, the mentorship and things like that of these chats. If you made it to the end, you are my true supporters and followers. And let's see, what's today? Let's do, that's a hard one. Let's do a star emoji if you made it this far, because you guys are stars for making it that far. And don't forget to check the links in the about section. Definitely check out my Patreon, and there's PayPal, there's my snail mail if you want to write me a letter. There's, what else is in there? All my affiliate link for Amazon. Oh, and my Yvette Sports link, which my code is still valid, TAM15. So if you're looking for leggings or sweat tops or sweatpants or sports bras, I'm wearing one right now, one of my Yvette bras, my favorite one. Definitely check out that link also. And every bit supports the channel, and I appreciate it so much. I didn't talk about it very much on Saturday, which is why I'm mentioning it now. I usually try and only mention it once a week so I don't sound like a walking commercial, but every bit of support helps, and I appreciate all of you. All right, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again soon.